Hi everyone, welcome to the Stampin' Panda YouTube channel. I'm Miranda, the Stampin' Panda, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in the Somerset region of sunny Queensland, Australia. Today's video is going to show you how I made this card. So I used the Enduring Beauty bundle to make this card, and I'm going to show you how I did it. So let's get started. I started off using Pretty Peacock cardstock, so all of my dimensions, measurements, all of that sort of thing, supply list will be linked in the blog post in the description box below. So I'm not going to give you measurements now, but I will show you what I did. So I've got my card base here, and my card base is long and skinny. So I've pre-scored that. I'm going to just burnish that with the bone folder. And then decide which side you want the front to be. So that's going to be my front, because we're going to stamp that in a minute. This is my card insert, so this is just basic white, and this is a basic white scrap. So I'm going to be using Pretty Peacock ink and this giant flower from the Enduring Beauty bundle, as well as Enjoy Your Day from a free celebration stamp set called Heartfelt Hellos. So to start off with, using the Pretty Peacock, we're going to do tone on tone stamping onto our card base using this big flower. So because this flower is so large, I like to ink my stamp up this way, just so that I can see that I've got all the areas. And then I'm going to pick which bit of the stamp I want to use. Doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to, whoops, I'm just going to pull my paper down so I don't get ink everywhere. And just stamp the flower onto the corner, re-inking between each stamp. And I'm going to do this 4 times around the edge, kind of around the corners of my card. So I realise you can't even see that on the screen, but I've just done the bottom corner. I'm going to do top corner. You can rotate this stamp too, so that it's stamping different portions of the stamp. In different areas, so that they don't all look the same. Okay, so that's the card base done. I'll just set that to the side. Now we are going to stamp a partial stamp on our insert. So I'm just going to stamp here on the insert. I'll just pop that out of the way while I'm working so I don't get ink on it. I'm just going to do this here. So that's for my card insert. Again, just going to pop that to the side for a second to dry. I'm going to clean my stamp off. But while I've got my Pretty Peacock ink out, I'm going to stamp Enjoy Your Day on a scrap of Whisper White. And then we're going to die cut that using the Enduring Beauty dies. There we go. So that's all of the Pretty Peacock ink that I need for the moment. So I'll pop that to the side. I'll just clean off my stamp. So I've got my Stampin' Scrub here, which is already misted. Now, because this is such a huge stamp, I'm also going to bring in my Stampin' Chamois and just give it a quick wipe over because I'm about to use it in the Versamark ink and I don't want any like little bits of Pretty Peacock to get into my stamp. So I will just, that's looking pretty good for the moment, so I'll just pop that out of the way. So then on this piece, this is also Pretty Peacock, I'm going to stamp that whole image, this whole image in Versamark ink, and then I'm going to emboss it with silver embossing powder. So I'll just clear my space up a little bit. This is my Versamark ink. It is white despite it saying black. I mean, it's clear, not black. So I'm just making sure that I ink this up really, really well. Okay. And then I'll sort of do it at that angle, I think. So I've just stood up to make sure that I am getting a nice even pressure on my stamp because it's so big. You could also be stamping on a foam pad because photopolymer stamps do stamp better if you stamp them on a foam pad, but that looks pretty good. Cap on that. I'll bring in my scrap of paper, and then I've got all of my embossing powders in these Tupperware modular mates because it keeps them nice and together. So I'm now going to pop this in here and sprinkle on my silver embossing powder. So the scrap of paper underneath this container is just in case I spill any outside of the container, just to catch it. So that coverage looks pretty good to me. So next I'll bring in my heat tool and we will watch this change colour. Like this. So this is the Stampin' Up! Heat tool. I think it's maybe a different colour now, but it's still the same concept. So this has two settings. The first heat setting is for drying ink or like watercolour paper if you don't want to wait between applications. Number 2 is for heat embossing. So we are heat embossing here. This will be a little bit loud, so I will do my best to speed this section up so that it's nice and quick, but I'm going to just turn it on and get it heating up, and then we can go from there. So it doesn't take very long to heat up, and once it is hot it will retain its heat, so it's very good like that. And then so I don't burn my fingers, I'm going to hold it down with my bone folder. And there you have it, all done. So I've just popped my heat tool off to the side and I've got it on its little stand so that it is not touching anything and melting things. So that's our heat embossing. You can see how it went from dull to nice and shiny. It's one of my favorite things to watch. It's just so satisfying. So that's done. The insert's done. We'll just quickly cut the word out using the dies, which are over here. So I'll show you what other dies you get. This is the Enduring Beauty stamp set too. So it comes with all of these. So I could have used any one of these sentiments as well, but I decided to use Enjoy Your Day out of the Heartfelt Hellos, which is, this one's a celebration item. So when you purchase this Enduring Beauty bundle, you can get this for free. And then our dies are just here. So these are our dies. So this one cuts out the big flower that we've just done. These are extra leaves and flowers. And then this one's like a little stitched framelit for most of these sentiments. It fits. So we're going to use it to chop this. And I'm going to be using my small Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'll grab my plates. So the plates I'm using are number 1 and number 2. And I'm just going to rotate them so that they don't get warped, because they already are starting to warp because I use this machine a lot. You can use a washi tape or post-it note tape to hold this in position, or you can just do what I do, line it up and hope for the best. So that's looking pretty good. And then I'll see if I can get this through without knocking the camera. Perfect. There we go. Oh, I knocked it. Well, I tried. I'll just pop that out of the way. So that's what that cuts out. So it's like a nice little stitched border. So now we're just at the assembling stage. So inside our card, I'm going to attach our card insert, just using liquid glue. And then onto the front here, I just use dimensionals on the back of this and dimensionals on the back of that, and I cut some of this elegant trim ribbon to put behind it. This elegant trim thread, sorry, I should say, or trim, or whatever you want to call it. So I just did a couple of loops, which I then secured with tear and tape. Something like that will do. And I'm going to just secure it with dimensionals because that's what I have handy. Scrap that, I found some tear and tape. So tear and tape's really easy. It's a really strong double-sided tape and it just tears so easily. So there we go. And dimensionals, which are here. I just make sure that I put enough on here that if it's getting posted, it's not going to get flattened. And some on here as well. I will peel that tape off just because the dimensionals don't stick very well to it. There we go. And we remove all of the backs. I've seen people colour the backs in with highlighter, so that's an idea to make sure you don't miss any. And then it's just a matter of lining it up where you want it. I'm going to do it this way so I can see what I'm doing. Lining it up there, looks pretty good. And then I'm sticking this up here. And there you have it. There you go. You can double loop it or you can put a bow or whatever you want with the trim. But there you have it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you liked my video. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss my future videos. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram through the links in the description box below. You'll find a link to the blog post relating to this project in the description box below as well. I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you.